Folks, how are you doing today? Lisa here. So in this video, I want to chat with you very briefly about my background and my qualifications. I had a really nice chat with someone who's going to come on my professional training, a student this year, and she asked me what my qualifications were, which I think is a really good question. And she did look at my about page on my client work website. But I think she just wanted a little bit more clarity about my training and my background and all that. So I'm going to share here what I shared with her and talk a bit about how I came to create this work. So I started off in my early 20s training as a Pilates instructor. And the reason I decided to do that was because at the time I was doing a lot of Pilates and I was really interested in learning more about physiology and the physical body. And I just followed my curiosity, followed my interests, and took a professional qualification in that area. And then following that, I became very interested in something called the myofascial body. So the fascia of the body, the connective tissue of the body. So I trained in a short qualification to learn more about that. And then I became very interested in the psoas muscle. So I took a short training with Liz Cook as well, and learned about the psoas muscle. And I basically got, just kind of more comfortable with understanding physiology and the body. And this was very much in my own personal journey, following my own curiosity and trying to figure out what I needed to learn in order to solve my own menstrual pain that I was experiencing every month, and anxiety and all sorts of symptoms I was getting with other things. And after that, I then trained with the Red School. I took their menstruality leadership program. And I also took their menstrual medicine circle training, which is the level up from that as well. That was in 2017. I've also trained with Uma Dinsmore-Tully, who specializes in yoga nidra and womb yoga. I didn't take the yoga nidra training, but I took the womb yoga training, and also I did a course with Miranda Gray, who specializes in the energetics of the menstrual cycle too. So up until then, a lot of the training and work I was doing, like I said, it was personally driven, but it was mostly to do with the energetics of the menstrual cycle and then physiology and the body and movement. And then after a while, I became curious. I was starting to do group workshops and work with women and do some one-to-one work. And then as I was learning with my clients and my groups, I then became interested in the nervous system. And that's when I trained with Deb Dana, and I've trained extensively with her. I've taken several courses with her. So that was all about polyvagal theory and the nervous system, which then led me to take the somatic experiencing training, which is the work of Peter Levine, which is the trauma therapy, the somatic-based trauma therapy. So what I did with that was I think the course is 4 years. So I did 3 years of that course, and I didn't do the last year because I didn't need it for my practice. That was hands-on body work, and I didn't need that for my work. So I did everything up until then with them. I also trained in something called internal family systems, which is it's just a short course which is the work of Richard Schwartz, to understand more about parts. And it was just another tool I could bring into my coaching practice as well. And I've also taken training in family constellations as well. And then a few other things I've taken training with. I took a really great training with a lady called Samantha Sapora in abortion and miscarriage support as well. So yeah, I'm constantly learning, constantly developing my work. And you can see there that there isn't a qualification for menstrual cycle coaching. And the reason for that is because it doesn't or didn't exist at the time. And as I was working with clients, I began to see gaps in, areas that I needed to bring in. So I would get curious about that gap and then look for a course or training that could fill that gap. So essentially what I've done is I've created a very holistic body of work that is based on all of those different trainings. And an important point that I want to make is that from my professional and my personal experience, most life coaching qualifications, the coaching skills and tools, not all of them, but some of them that you might learn in a more life coaching based course, or even some of the trauma skills that you learn in trauma courses, because I've been there myself, they're not appropriate or not fully in alignment with what I believe to be important for menstrual cycle coaching, particularly if you are working in the space of chronic pain and supporting women through the medical system, supporting women with their decision making, helping them to align with their energies of their menstrual cycle. And so yeah, there was a lot of learning for me to do. And I also worked with a great supervisor who really helped me to learn through my client practice. And even though supervision isn't a qualification or a course, I've now come to see that being in regular supervision and getting support through supervision really helps with the integrity of your coaching practice, your client practice. So that's something I'm really committed to. So I'm very committed to the integrity of my work, always learning, being curious about blind spots or missing pieces, not being hard on myself or other organizations who don't meet all of the needs, but rather see it as an unfolding creative journey where you are creating your own practice. And that is what I've done. I'm super proud of it. We now have a whole modality that we've created in the Menstrual Coach Academy where we are teaching you to bring your coaching, your education, your facilitation skills to the context of women's health, the menstrual cycle and hormones and perimenopause and menopause as well, in a way that is in alignment with what your clients need. So we are thinking about power dynamics, consent, anti-oppressive practice, trauma-informed awareness, all those things that might be missing in some kind of more general coaching schools, which is fine. That's not what they're there to do. And yeah, so that is, hopefully that explains what I do, my background, my qualifications, and then of course my own personal journey. My personal journey is not something I always talk about because I hold quite a strong boundary between me personally and the work I do. I don't think they always need to be mirrored, but I take very seriously my personal process and get a lot of support for it every month. Considering the work I do as well, I have to really mind myself. And so I'm really proud of my body of work, and my body of work would not be possible without the amazing teachers and mentors I've had and books I've read and courses I've taken. I also want to mention the Feminist Coach Academy. That was another training I did. They are no longer existing, but they really helped me to work with the systemic lens and power dynamics in my coaching practice as well. So yeah, really, really grateful. You can read more about my backgrounds and my lineage on my website, menstrualcoachacademy.com, or on my client website, lisa@youngcoaching.com. I'll make sure I link them below. So if you have any questions at all, just leave a comment and I will be in touch soon. Take care.